Are you tired of not being able to build full-stack apps because it costs money for production? Today, I bring you the easiest and cheapest ways possible using powerful AI tool using open-source alternatives without writing a single line of code. I present you SuperDesign. SuperDesign is basically like having a design buddy that lives right inside your code editor. Instead of having to jump between different apps to create mockups and designs, you can just type what you want in plain English and it'll create it for you on the spot. When you need a login screen for your app, instead of opening Figma, sketching something out, then trying to recreate it in code, you just type "make me a modern login screen" and boom, SuperDesign generates it right there. You can see how it looks, tweak it, and even make variations without leaving your coding environment. The concept of this video is to do it fully free. So we are going to start with Visual Studio Code or Cursor. Then we are going to install Cline, Kilo Code, which you get 20 USD in credits for your first sign-up, which is nice because you can use premium models. That is going to be our autonomous agent. And you also are going to install SuperDesign from the extension marketplace. So if you are going to use expensive models, in the first place, you can use providers like Anthropic, where you can have Claude Opus 4 or Sonnet 4. But if you want to use open source models, I am going to show you which providers you can use and how to set this up. So first, we head to the Cline or Kilo Code, and you are going to sign up for an account. Once you are in, click on Configure, and you can see all the options where you can choose whatever provider that you want, and we can select an API that we have. In my case, I will use the Kimi K2. You just select Cline and Kimi K2, which is a model that was recently released and is very good. So we will use that for this example. Well, for the backend of our full stack application, we can use MongoDB. We can go to the official website and create an account. We can also use alternatives such as Firebase or Supabase, which include authentication, or we can use external authentication such as Auth.js. Then I'll show you how we can connect it to our project. We'll consider Auth.js as external authentication for our project, and we can use a payment processor like Stripe. Make sure you're properly registered. Now, we are going to Visual Studio or Cursor, and we are going to configure our provider and model for our SuperDesign extension. As you can see below, you can select a lot of AI models. Whatever you choose, you have to put your API key. So since the concept of this video is to do it 100% free, I'm going to choose another free open source model this time, and that would be Qwen3 Coder. To do so, just go Open Router, choose the model that you want, go to API, click on Create New API, name it, and copy it. Now, head it to the settings again, copy and paste the name of the model properly, and paste your API key as well. After that, you may have to restart the IDE. Before you start, I'm going to leave you the link in the comments of all the free Open Router open source models that you can use infinitely. There are a lot of them, but I want to recommend the Qwen3 variants, the Kimi K2 from Moonshot AI, and the GLM 4.5 Air variant from ZII. Once you have finished configuring which models you are going to use, we will give you our prompt. In my case, I will ask it to design an elegant and modern control panel for managing e-commerce stores, and we are going to progress from there. The results vary depending on the model, but at least we have a solid, fast, and free foundation for our front-end project. One thing I wanted to mention is the type of files contained within this extension. There are certain .md files, which are a more advanced format than txt, including a cloudy MD file that establishes strict rules regarding the use of the Flowbyte library, avoids specific bootstrap colors, and requires responsive designs with predefined Google fonts. The most distinctive aspect is its structured workflow of 4 mandatory steps layout design with ASCII wireframes, theme creation using specific tools, animation design, and generation of the final HTML file. It includes 2 complete theme styles, Neo-Brutalism and Modern Dark Mode, and emphasizes the correct use of real tools for file operations, with repeated warnings about not simulating tool calls but actually executing them. Continuing with our full-stack app, if we look closely at the folder, we will see our front end, but the real magic will happen now. Remember that I had you install another extension called Cline. Well, now we will work with it. As you can see, it comes with a file called Design Cursor Rules. For our full stack app, we will add our own. To do this, you can go to Rules or simply create a file with the .mdc extension and create our own rules inside. There are also options to modify when these rules will be applied, consisting of 4 variants. You can tell Claude to put together the content based on what you personally want. These are my rules, and they consist of a complete architecture for developing a modern full-stack e-commerce application using Next.js 14+ with App Router, MongoDB, and Auth.js, establishing TypeScript code standards with functional React components, styling with Tailwind CSS and Shadsienla UI, state management with Zustand, and validation with Zod. The next step is quite straightforward. We will add the MongoDB MCP to Cursor, which is a way to have a tool within our IDE connected to what, in this case, would be our backend. I have not yet made a video explaining what MCP is and how it works, how to install it, and explaining its code, but I will try to make it very simple. If you don't have any MCPs yet, you can copy and paste everything, but if you already have some, you should copy everything from the name to the square bracket. Where it says cursor, we will copy it and add a key and a comma at the end. So first, we'll go to the cursor settings, then to tools and integrations, scroll down to where it says to add MCP, and it will open MCP.json. You can copy me exactly if you don't understand very well. You should paste it in between if you already have some previous ones, adding a closing brace and a comma at the end. Moving on to the second point, we can also add the connection strings, which I recommend because it allows you to connect to your Atlas cluster. All we have to do is copy that part and paste it in. What you need to do is go to your project, click on the button to create a connection string, and once you have it, go to config.json and paste it where I am showing you. Now, to check if everything is connected properly, you should see a green light on the MCP. If you see a red light, it means you did something wrong. The next step will be to work on our full-stack app. I will use the same cursor agent, but you can use any agent you prefer. Cline or Kilocode offer the possibility of using APIs at no cost due to open-source models in OpenRouter. To make the process more demonstrative, I will use Cursor. Remember to install the necessary dependencies for your project. You and the agent will be a team of 2 working on the details of your own full-stack app, focusing on errors or debugging if there are any, and then I will teach you how to connect to MongoDB. Once the .env file has been created, I will show you how to connect our project to the backend with MongoDB. When you click on connection string, you will see a link. In the message below, it says that we must enter our password in the DB enter password section. Be careful if you previously entered any symbols, as they will be written differently. Inside the .env file, write MongoDB URL and put the link there, then ask the agent to run a test to verify that it is connected properly. My project looks like this for now. You can take all the time you need to develop it further. The next step will be to work on authentication. We can use Auth.js, which I will show you how to connect below. The first thing you need to do is click Get Started, then choose Next.js. The first step will be to install the dependencies in your IDE terminal. I recommend copying and pasting the documentation link into your agent so that it generates the auth.ts file, as it may take longer if you do it manually. Once you have completed the authentication, you must verify that the login occurs properly. If something is wrong, you probably have a problem with the backend or how authentication was installed in your project. If everything works correctly, you should be able to access your account without any problems. The next step is to focus on payment processing. For this, we can use Stripe. We go to Stripe, create a new account, follow the instructions, and arrive at the dashboard where we are offered 2 APIs. The second is for connecting to the backend, i.e. MongoDB, and the first is for the front end. We will ask our agent to do this for us. To save a lot of time, it is best to use the MCP that we connected at the beginning of the video. I can't show too much due to personal data, but it should look something like this, where after processing the payment, it should tell you that everything was done successfully. So, what's the next step now? Well, you have to implement it, but if you don't want to pay anything for now because you're still working on it, you can use Vercel to implement it. All you have to do is create an account there, and you'll be able to host your entire project in a few minutes, and anyone will be able to access it. But if you already have your project finished and want to launch it to the public, you just have to pay for the domain on Vercel, and you'll have your hosting with your custom domain. You can upgrade the backend server by purchasing a subscription to make it bigger, and that's it.